Hi, I'm Onika and I'm a level 1 chef.
Hi, I'm Daniel, and I'm a level 2 chef.
Hi, I'm Saul. I've been a professional chef for the past 20 years.
Today I'm making spicy bean and cheese tamales. These are not easy. This is a long process.
Today I am making red chicken tamales. They're a little spicy, but really robust in flavor. They'll taste delicious.
Today we're making tamales oaxaqueños. They come from the state of Oaxaca. Tamale, basically, it's a Mexican packet appetizer. I'm doing mole verde with pork.
The first thing I'm gonna do is make my masa.
Masa is a dough made out of nixtamalized corn.
So I'm making masa azul, which is blue masa.
I'm using yellow corn flour.
I'm making a dough from cornmeal.
Look, you could use cornmeal, but I feel like, all the recipes that are like traditional, like the actual style of cooking it, all use masa.
Sure, you can use cornmeal to make a tamale, but normally cornmeal you will use it to make bread.
You gotta go blue, if you have the option.
Blue masa? All right, good for you.
The reason why I'm using corn flour is because that gives the distinct flavor for tamales and tortillas.
So I'm gonna put in all my dry seasonings in one bowl and I'm gonna stir that up. Cornmeal, boop, 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 go ahead, baby. Salt, baking powder. I'm adding Creole seasoning because it just makes everything better. A little bit of spice. There's all my dried seasoning, look at that.
I'm gonna throw the vegetable shortening into the mixer to beat the vegetable shortening until it is light and fluffy. So you could substitute it with like butter.
I got my butter.
I'm using pork lard. We're gonna whip this as much as we can. I want it to be this as smooth as I can.
Obviously, if you have lard, that's a better option, but shortening is what worked for me.
The reason why I'm doing it by hand is because in Mexico, we don't have that many machines. So we're used to do everything by hand. It's a habit, it's a Mexican thing.
Instead of whisking, now we're just gonna massage the butter. Look at this.
I'm gonna pour the flour into the bowl.
Corn flour.
And I've got some
baking powder.
And a little bit of salt. From here, all I'm gonna do is little by little take chicken stock,
pork broth,
and add it into the flour mixture.
Which is gonna make our tamales hold together.
Wish me luck, because don't wanna mess this part up, because I feel like Saul will hurt me.
Whatever you need.
If you don't want to get dirty, stay out the kitchen.
I want like a dough that's not super sticky.
My dough is looking like Play-Doh, actually.
Maybe like a toothpaste kind of consistency.
And I'm gonna add it little by little into the mixer and hopefully get a buttercream frosting-like consistency out of our dough.
And that's my masa.
So time for my sauce. I'm using red enchilada sauce. I feel like enchilada sauce is the same taste as tamale sauce.
Enchilada sauce, yeah, for sure. Would I do that in front of my mother or my grandma? No. But if I'm home, no one's watching, yeah.
I'm making a red chili sauce.
I'm going to make my mole verde.
My sauce has two different kinds of peppers. I've got dried red Anaheim peppers and chiles de árbol. Anaheim peppers themselves are not too spicy. I do not want seeds in my sauce. And the chiles de árbol are 6 times hotter than the average jalapeno. These will hurt you, so only 2 for me.
Mole is very traditional in Mexican cuisine. You can find it from the south of Mexico to central to the north. And everybody has different types of mole. In this case, this mole actually, it's the one that my mom makes. And we use a lot of seeds, greens, and it's supposed to be healthy for you.
Saul's making mole. Ooh.
Every time I cook, I want to cook like my mom used to cook because that's just the best way to cook. So basically, we want to start with toasting our spices. We want to start with the coriander, the cumin, black pepper. That's going to help to bring the flavors out of the spices. Second step, we're going to do the sesame seeds. And the peanuts and the pumpkin seeds, that's going to make the mole a little bit more on the thicker side. So that's what happens when you make mole from scratch. It takes too long.
Who has time to make a mole?
But in the end, it's worth it. Paciencia, hijo, paciencia. That's what my grandma used to tell me. Patience, patience.
Everything is going right into the pot. Tomatoes go in there, the peppers are going in there, the garlic is going in there. And now I'm just gonna add just enough stock to cover everything. I've got some onion powder, some cumin, and a little salt.
I'm using store-bought sauce because why not? Look at this. Just get a can opener, look at that. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Tamales take long enough to make. I don't think that you need to make your own sauce.
Make everything from scratch. It's fun, it's healthier, and you know what you put it into your body. I know I don't look like I take care of myself, but I do. But do what makes you happy.
So now I'm gonna let this sauce simmer for about 30 minutes until everything in there is nice and soft.
Now I have to char some vegetables for my mole. So I'm gonna start with the onion because it takes longer to cook. It's the biggest vegetables. We're gonna do some garlic. Now the jalapeno, serrano. One way to find out if it's really spicy or not, smell it. Ooh, serranos are much spicier than jalapenos. Tomatillo is the Mexican cousin of the tomato. The longer you cook it, the sweeter it will become.
This sauce tastes like a hot sauce without a kick. It's like a hot sauce and then like a loose tomato paste put together.
I'm charring these vegetables only halfway through. It's because I'm going to blend it and then I'm gonna cook it again with the mole. Now that my vegetables look halfway ready, I'm going to remove them and we're gonna make that sauce.
So now my sauce has been cooking down for like 20, 30 minutes. Everything that was in the pot is going into the blender.
Now for the blending part, right? We're gonna start with your seeds. Now that my seeds are nice and smooth, I'm gonna eat these beautiful charred vegetables.
So I'm gonna take the solids out with some tongs, just so I'm not splashing everything everywhere. Everything's just a little more tender.
The spinach is gonna make it green. It's gonna make your muscles strong like Popeye. I say suave. So I have epazote. Epazote has that beautiful bitter taste because everything is so sweet.
I'm gonna blend it up until everything's nice and incorporated. Wow, that's not what I wanted at all. And then from the blender, add it back into the pot to cook and reduce a little bit more for like another 15 minutes.
To finish my mole, I'm going to cook it with some lard. So now I'm going to cook my mole verde for 30 minutes until it gets nice and dark green. And that means that my vegetables are cooked properly.
Okay, and
that's my red sauce.
So now for the wrapper. I'm using parchment paper because I feel like it holds better.
I will never use parchment paper, no matter if you pay me.
I'm going to use corn husks. So these are literally just for wrapping and steaming the tamales. I'm not gonna eat them. They will actually be discarded after I'm done eating everything inside them.
I don't see corn husks anywhere in the supermarket. I don't know where you get corn husks from.
I feel like every traditional recipe that I found had the tamales wrapped in corn husks. So I felt like that was what I had to do.
Corn husks, I think, is the second best way to wrap a tamale. I'm using banana leaves to wrap my tamales, straight from a banana tree, because that's how it's done in Oaxaca. When you grill this for like 10 seconds, the flavors of the banana come out.
Awesome. That guy kills everything.
I'm gonna cut this paper in 8 by 8 squares, so that's about right.
I'm cutting my banana leaves 14 inches by 12 inches because it will help me wrap my tamal better. I'm just searing this a little bit just to get the aromas out of the banana leaf and also to be a little bit more flexible. You can see this one is a little bit more flexible than this one. This is like a little rough. See, this is like the dancing banana leaf. And this is like,
I'm gonna take a couple and just put them into some warm water. We'll loosen them up, make them more pliable and easy to work with.
All right, so now we need some strings to wrap our tamales out of the banana leaves. And you tie it like that.
To build my tamales, I'm gonna first start with the parchment.
So we're gonna start with the banana leaf right here. I personally like my tamales to have a little bit of dough, 50% dough, and then the rest sauce and meat. Because I'm gonna create like a little boat to hold my protein and my sauce.
It's like a nice bed. Get the bed ready for the festivities. I'm using a 3-cheese blend. This shredded cheese is gonna melt faster to coat the bean inside the tamale. So I'm adding in my black bean filling, which I cook down with onions, garlic, and my Creole seasoning. It's a little spicy, it's a little tart. It tastes like I've cooked these beans for 20 years, but I haven't. So now I'm adding more cheese on top because the more cheese, the better.
So I'm adding in my chicken filling, which is basically chicken thighs cooked down in some guajillo chilies, ancho chilies, and chilies de árbol. It's not that spicy, it's actually more smoky and sweet.
I'm adding here the shredded pork that I cooked earlier with beer, and I mix it with my mole verde. It's spicy, it's nutty, it's earthy. It looks beautiful already. I put a little bit of epazote, a little bit more dough in here. And I'm gonna put this beautiful hoja santa. It's a very popular herb. It gives that minty, licorice, nutmeg flavor to any dish.
I'm gonna roll it, but I'm not gonna make it too tight.
Make sure you push this dough towards the end and then flip it to the top.
And fold them over each other.
Take the edges, and I'm just gonna square them down.
And we're gonna use our banana strings.
And then using the twine as my holder.
Look at my baby.
Okay, so now that I've formed my tamales, I'm gonna steam them. Right now, it's gonna take like from 40 to like an hour, so it's probably a good time to get some wine.
Now that my tamales are steamed, we're ready to plate. Mexico!
So now I'm just gonna kind of lay them on a plate and get this stuff ready to be eaten. And I'm gonna try to make it as pretty as I can.
And look how the parchment paper just held everything together. Look at it.
We are going to remove the leaves because I don't eat leaves and you shouldn't eat leaves. I'm gonna leave the leaf here just for garnish.
Cilantro, because I'm fancy like that. Look at that plate, looks pretty.
And I think I'm just gonna keep the sauce in a little bowl on the side. So I'm gonna throw a little bit of sauce in here.
Saucy.
I'm gonna finish it with more mole verde. I'm gonna add some red onions because I'm a red onion lover. A little bit sesame seeds. A little bit of these peanuts, pumpkin seeds, and cilantro macho.
And these are my tamales.
And these are my chicken tamales.
And there you have it, tamal oaxaqueño. Looks great. Mom, are you proud of me?
That is what you're looking for. All right, time to taste this.
Yep.
Gosh.
The dough is like really nice. It gives almost like a soft tortilla kind of flavor.
Thank you, Oaxaca. This is the best thing I ever eat so far.
I'm gonna try with the sauce now. I'm so happy. If someone wants to make them, I'll come help for sure.
She's the right size, she's the right texture, she's the right everything. She is the girl of your dreams.
Tamales are a filled corn flour cake, packaged and steamed to perfection. Let's see how each of our 3 chefs made theirs. Onika mixed cornmeal flour, salt, and baking soda for a little leavening. Cornmeal is simply ground up corn, traditional for cornbread, johnny cakes, and corn muffins. You can use it for tamales, but it may lead to a thicker, more dense tamale. Masa is the traditional ingredient used for tamales. Daniel used blue corn masa harina, which gets its color from anthocyanins.
It's almost like the blue corn tortilla chips, you know. It's blue corn, so.
Saul used maseca, which is masa harina. It's the instant version of masa. Masa is made from nixtamalized corn. This is a process of soaking dried corn kernels in a mixture of water and calcium hydroxide until the pH is increased and the corn is soft enough to grind in a mill. The alkalinity softens the hull and cell walls, making the corn flour very soft and pliable when liquid is added. Daniel whipped his fat to make it very light and chose baking powder as a leavener, which worked well because it contains an acid that reacts to produce carbon dioxide when water, or in this case chicken stock, is heated. The corn is not acidic, so it was a good addition. Saul used pork stock and lard. Lard is semi-solid at room temperature, and when whipped, aids in forming air bubbles that expand during cooking. It makes a nice, light tamale. Onika wrapped her tamales in parchment paper, which is paper that is silicone coated and makes it non-stick and heat resistant. It's a good choice, but it's inedible, so its only purpose is as the container for steaming the inner tamales. Daniel used corn husks that he pre-soaked to make them more pliable. They're the green leaves on the outside of a cob of corn that have been dried and packaged. They're traditional in certain areas of Central America. Saul used banana leaves, which are dark green and slightly shiny. They make an excellent wrapping for tamales because they're sturdy. He also heated up his banana leaves to make them more pliable. Onika cut her parchment paper into squares, added her corn mixture with the black bean filling and cheese, then folded the parchment, sealing the ends. Daniel added his masa, chicken filling, and was careful not to overstuff his tamales. Saul spread his masa mixture on each banana leaf, added pork, and then topped it with hoja santa. Tamales are a wonderful meal, all tied up in a neat package. There are so many options for fillings and wrappings. Next time you're making tamales, we hope you'll take some of these tips from our 3 terrific chefs.